5 words your cat actually understands. This is not guesswork. It is backed by science, so stop thinking that when you talk baby talk to your cat every day, they do not understand a thing. Number 1. They know their own name, and you have definitely seen this before. You are sitting on the couch calling their name, and they are right there next to you. But they act like they cannot hear a thing, at most, and ear twitches slightly. Their tail gives a half-hearted thump or two, and then they keep their eyes closed and pretend to sleep. Or they just walk away gracefully in the opposite direction. And you might think, does this cat even know its own name? But science gives a very clear answer. They know, and they know it very well. In 2019, a research team at Sophia University in Japan ran a classic study. They tested dozens of cats in regular homes and cat cafes. The method was simple. First, they played a few random words with similar lengths and rhythms, and then they threw the cat's actual name into the mix. For example, they let the cat hear a string of words that had nothing to do with them, and then suddenly, their name popped up. Researchers recorded the cat's ear movements, head turns, pupil changes, and tail reactions the whole time. The results were incredibly consistent. When those random words kept repeating, the cats became more and more indifferent. This is a classic habituation response, meaning their brain tuned those sounds out as useless noise. But the moment their name came up, even if a total stranger said it, they immediately showed a clear reaction. Their ears perked up, their head lifted slightly, and their attention instantly locked in. This proves cats can actually pick their own name out from a sea of sounds with total precision. So why do they not come running over? Because cats are not dogs. Through the long history of domestication, dogs were bred for obedience and responsiveness, but cats were not. When a cat hears its name, it does not automatically obey a command. It does one thing first. It evaluates. It does a quick calculation in its head. Is it actually worth responding to you this time? If every time you called its name in the past good things followed right after, like treats, playtime, or affection, they will be much more willing to come over. But if you call their name and it usually means the carrier, the vet, nail trims, or a bath, then they will not come. Not because they do not understand, but because they understood perfectly and made the best choice for themselves. That is the most interesting part. Your cat does not misunderstand you. It just decides whether you are worth getting up for right now. Number 2, they know what no means. What is the most common scene at home? Your cat jumps on the counter, scratches the couch, or gets ready to push a glass off the table. Right at the moment they are about to do it, you suddenly yell no, and the cat freezes instantly. Seeing this, many people naturally think they understand the rules. Yes, but not exactly. Cats do connect the word no with certain situations, what they are actually responding to. Usually is not the rule itself. It is your tone of voice, your volume, and the emotional stress of that exact moment. A cat's hearing is way sharper than a human's. That sudden loud voice is not just normal talking to them. It is a highly intense signal. What they learn is not, I should not scratch the couch. What they learn is, when this sound suddenly pops up, the vibe in the air gets dangerous, and bad things usually follow. So they freeze their movements, not necessarily because they get the rules. Most of the time, it is because they want to avoid the discomfort that comes next. And this is exactly where a lot of owners mess up. If you say no too often, scream it every single time, or chase them down and yell at them long after they have already done the deed, then you are not teaching them boundaries. You are teaching them stress. Over time, your cat will start to link you with this unpredictable anxiety. The most common result is they hide away more often. If you move too fast, they flinch slightly. You call their name, and they are not as willing to get close to you anymore. This is not because the love suddenly died. It is because by scolding them the wrong way over and over again, you secretly rewrote what you mean to them in their heart. The truly effective way is never screaming and shouting. It is short, calm, and precise. Right at the exact moment they are doing something wrong. Say no once calmly and firmly. Do not yell, do not repeat it 5 times in a row, and then immediately guide them to what they can do. If they are scratching the couch, take them to the scratching post. If they are biting things, give them a toy. That way, what they learn is not that you are terrifying, but rather, not this, but that is fine. Number 3, they know what treats mean. If there is one single word that can make a cat teleport across the house to you instantly, the answer is almost definitely treats. You do not even have to say it loudly. You could just whisper treats in the bedroom, and the very next second, you will hear the patter of their paws. You look up, and they are already sitting right at your feet, staring up at you with laser focus. This is not magic. It is a textbook-conditioned reflex. There is a classic concept in psychology called classical conditioning, when a sound that originally meant nothing is repeatedly paired with a highly rewarding outcome. The brain hardwires the two things together. For cats, the word treats eventually becomes. Hearing this sound equals food. Right now, zero thinking required. And the funny thing is, most owners never actually trained their cats on this. You just casually said the word treats time and time again, right before handing them over. And your cat did the rest of the learning on their own. In fact, cats usually pick up more than just that one word. Many cats turn the whole routine into a chain of associations. The crinkling sound of a plastic bag, the sound of the cabinet door opening, your specific footsteps heading to the kitchen at the exact same time every day. They remember all of it, meaning the word treats is just the most obvious trigger. What is truly amazing is that your cat has strung all the details, before and after this moment, into a complete signal system. Number 4, they know the names of the other cats in the house. If you live in a multi-cat household, this study gets really interesting. You might have experienced this before. You call your older cat's name, but the younger cat next to them looks up instead. They might look toward where that cat usually hangs out, or clearly glance over in their direction. Most people write this off as a coincidence, but research shows it is not a coincidence at all. In 2022, a research team at Kyoto University in Japan ran an experiment. They discovered that cats who live together in the same house for a long time actually learn and recognize their companions' names. And they do not just remember a sound, they connect that specific name directly with that specific cat's identity. The experimental setup was brilliant. The researchers would play a recording of a cat's name being called, and then show a picture of a cat on a screen. Sometimes it was the correct cat, sometimes it was the wrong cat. They found that if the name and the photo did not match, the cat being tested stared at the screen significantly longer. In animal behavior studies, a longer stare usually means they notice something is wrong. To put it simply, when they heard that name, their brain expected to see a specific face. But when a completely different face popped up, they caught the contradiction immediately. This proves your cat does not just care about eating and sleeping. They have been quietly building a mental map of every member of the household. Who is who, and which name belongs to whom. They pick it all up slowly through daily observation. So the next time you call one cat and the other one suddenly reacts, do not assume they are just looking around aimlessly. They probably know exactly who you were just calling, and they just want to see what is going down. Number 5, they know what come here means. This word might be the most special one on the entire list, because it is completely different from the others. Treats are driven by a craving for food. No is driven by avoiding stress. Their name is about deciding if it is worth answering. But come here is all about the relationship itself. You have probably had a moment like this. You softly say, "Come here," from across the room with no treats in your hand. And no toys either. Yet your cat walks over to you, step by step, and finishes by nuzzling their head right into your palm. A lot of people think this is just a fluke. But the truth is, your cat likely learned this word a long time ago. Of course, they are not born knowing what come here means. They piece it together from countless everyday moments. You say, "Come here," and then you pet them. You say, "Come here," and then they get scooped up into your arms. You say, "Come here," and they get taken to a warm, safe spot. Once, twice, 10 times, 100 times. Slowly, they start to connect this word with the security you provide. So what matters is not how magical the word itself is. It is the experience you consistently deliver right after you say it. When your cat hears "come here" and chooses to walk toward you, they are not obeying a command, like a dog. They are showing you that every time they heard this phrase, What they felt from you was safe, warm, and deeply trustworthy. That is why they are willing to take that step toward you again. And that is why the phrase "come here" is the ultimate measure of your bond. Because with no food incentives and no forced pressure, they choose you. What is working behind the scenes here is not tricks. It is pure trust. By now, you have probably realized cats are not the aloof creatures we think. They are always listening, learning, and constantly redefining you, based on your tone, your habits, and what happens after you speak. So every word you say to your cat is never just a sound. It is more like writing a long-term psychological file for them. Their name decides if they want to acknowledge you. Saying no decides if they connect you with stress. Treats decide if they will bolt out like lightning. The other cats' names prove they are quietly observing the household. And "come here" ultimately reflects exactly how much they trust you. When you go home tonight, you can run a simple little test. Use the exact same calm tone of voice to say their name, Treats, and "come here." Then, closely watch their ears, their eyes, and the tip of their tail. More often than not, the answer your cat gives is obvious. Take a moment to think, is the word you say most tied to happiness or stress? Because to a cat, they never just remember a word. They remember what you as a person truly mean behind it.